what if my mom? Just kidding.
Welcome to Morgan's Corner. This is my second episode, you'd call. I got two guests with me today. I actually think that's pretty cool. Second episode, two guests.
Pretty good.
It's it'll be interesting. I'm gonna explain how I know them quickly, but first I'll introduce them. This is Cody. He's a younger brother of one of my neighbors that lives upstairs at an apartment. And through the time of living here, I've gotten to know him and gain a friend out of it. And on the other side here is his name is Johan. Johan, I love it. Love the name. And same thing, friend of my neighbor that lives upstairs, and these two are friends as well. They hang out. We all hang out.
Play some
And
games.
I explained to them that I have this YouTube channel that I'm starting out. So I feel like they have some interesting stories they could share, talk about, and laugh about, and also, you know, learn. Like, there's also serious side of some stories that we could listen about, and yeah. So I'll start with you, Cody, if you want to give yourself a proper introduction, because I'm not the best at it.
Neither am I. Well, like you said, my name's Cody, and skateboard. 28 years old. Work as a meat cutter at Sobeys.
Talk a bit about that.
Pretty
too.
cool job. Yeah. Just the steak section. Top sirloin guy, ribeyes, anything. I can cut that stuff. But that's me, and I know Eric through my brother. Again, like he said, big bro, and I come and see him. And one thing, met Eric, and then everyone here, Johan too. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, small world. Everybody gets together, and good group of friends. And Johan, yourself?
I'm Johan. I'm 26 years old. I don't live in the apartment complex. I live down Ferry Road. I am a white hat hacker. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, pretty much I get hired by a company to hack into their system and build up their security system better.
Pretty cool.
I met Kyle when I was hanging out at the pool over here, and
Which is his older brother.
yeah, which is Cody's older brother, and friendship
Blossomed.
Blossomed from there.
Yeah.
And I met Eric through Kyle, and
Now we're here.
We all here.
One thing before we get too far into the video, I noticed it's on just a little crooked, so I'm just gonna fix that before we get too crazy. That's okay still?
That's good. Seems good.
That was just pissing me off. But again, I don't edit, so it's just kind of like it's like my other channel, One Take Reviews, with my girlfriend Savannah. We just take it in one shot. So this video is gonna be in one shot.
So don't mind the blurps and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
But I got a little off track there. But really quick before we start, we do have a couple things that we're going to aim to talk about that will be in the title. One of them is going to be talking about a deadbeat dad. I guess that's pretty serious off the top.
General,
Deadbeats in general, yeah, and the topic of, that. That will be from Johan, and I haven't heard. We were talking earlier, and I was like, hey, this is perfect. You should talk about it on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, having full custody of his sister and the complications and struggles of that, I couldn't imagine. So I'm very excited to hear about that.
Very curious.
And on Cody's side here, he's wicked skateboarder. I've seen his videos, and he has an Instagram page.
Yes,
you can always check it out. So I will have that in
Yeah.
the description.
I forget what it's called right now.
That's okay. I won't put you on the spot.
Off the top of my head.
But he has an Instagram page you could go check out if you're into skateboarding.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool maneuvers on there.
But that will be one thing. And then another thing is that I actually just found out tonight about my good friend Cody is open relationships. Him and his girlfriend are.
I guess that's what most
You
people,
can explain
that's what
this.
most people
I'll
do.
let you take this side over because I know nothing about it.
We can talk about that after the skate.
But that's just one of the topics we'll come across.
Yeah.
So I think first we'll play it safe, and we'll let you start off with your skateboarding. When did you start? How did you?
It Yeah, honestly, it all comes back to Kyle.
1 second, I apologize.
Oh.
Don't mean to be rude.
Hold on, we have
Coffee's here.
some beverages coming in.
Do you think this will be good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Savannah.
The clutch play.
Clutch.
Thank you very, very much. Really quick, I have to show my little stepsister that I actually do use this.
Oh, yeah.
She knitted this by hand.
Yeah.
The perfect little thing to
Wow.
put your coffee on.
Wonderful work.
Wonderful. Anyways, sorry.
Oh,
So,
of course. I was gonna say it always comes back to Kyle pretty much. I will just see him do things, and I remember always seeing him in the front of my street, in front of my house, skating with his friends. And classic little brother syndrome, you know. I want to do what my brother wants to do. So right away I'm like, I want to skateboard.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden I'm out there with my brother and his friends, learning, going about. And I think, I was 6 years old when I started, and I haven't stopped. That's the one thing, one sport. I used to play a bunch of other sports too. I used to play hockey, lacrosse, and it just everything stopped except skateboarding. So
oh, wow.
the passion,
Just
I
like
guess.
this.
The hot,
And you're 28?
28 years old, yeah.
Nice. That's like me with my wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling nerd, and I
Very
love my
committed.
wrestling. But one thing that I followed with my brother is I've enjoyed UFC, watching UFC like religiously, and
My
I
friends
got
from UFC too.
I got that from my older brother. Is I didn't know anything about it. I knew my fake wrestling. That's all.
Yeah.
And Cody introduced me to MMA and all that shit, and I just
Your brother.
yeah. Sorry, I have a brother named Cody as well, and I just fucking fell in love with it, and so I could imagine the looking up to the older brother type deal, you know.
And just seeing all the, there are professionals in skateboarding. It's like any other sport. There's amateurs, professionals. I guess I would consider myself an amateur, but I'd even go lower than that. Whatever. But yeah, got some cat action right now.
Yeah. If there's ever any background noises, it's the cats, and they're right by the stand. Get out of here.
Come on.
Get out. Gilmore, you can come sit with me, buddy.
So yeah, it was just like from watching your older brother, you know, it turns into a different passion, and then you watch one skate video, it's like, wow, these guys are like doing things that I can't even think about doing.
Yeah.
And
Who's the better skateboarder, you or Kyle?
back
Because
in the-
Kyle skateboards too, right?
He stopped though. My brother, I'm sure if he's ever on here, he'll go through his trials and tribulations. But he stopped skateboarding and had to pick it back up at an older age.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I'd say 100% him. But now I've overtaken him 100%. 100%.
You ever skateboard, Johan?
I did skateboard for like a month. Like the actual month. The actual month I actually have skateboarded. But then I was at my friend's place and we were doing grinding off the we were in a
I was
college
at my
track.
friend's place and we were grinding. Sorry.
On the curb,
on the curb,
On the curb, that's
on the
the
curb. And
Sorry.
and my board got ran over by a guy who was in a truck.
Ooh.
The classic move.
And I tried going up a driveway, and the bottom shaft of the that holds the wheels just flew off, and I kind of landed on my face.
You say shaft.
Yeah.
Truck. the metal part that your wheels are on.
Yeah.
It's called the truck.
I was wondering, I'm like,
Yeah, we can get into all
I know
that
nothing
too.
about skateboarding.
Again,
so.
I've been skating for a month.
But that's kind of bad luck that the 1 month you skate, the truck runs it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing was I lived on Furby, and I was really young, and my buddy had a skateboard, and he had two, so I got one. He gave me one, and I remember trying it out. And the sidewalks in Winnipeg are fucking shit. If you live here, you know.
They are bad.
And anytime I'd hit a bump, I'd get all wobbly, right?
Mhm.
And put it back in the porch. I never touched it again. So that was that.
That's I feel like most people touch a skateboard.
I liked to flick marbles in the dirt
Yeah.
and sink them in holes. That you know, you're not gonna get hurt doing that. And on
True.
top of that, while I got older, I found hockey and that's about it. And other than that, I like to watch my sports. You know, I work out here and there. But other than that, I don't like to put myself at danger. And
Yeah.
like I will give props to skateboarding or snowmobiling or
That was really the
skating. Like it's you fucking wipe out, it hurts.
That-
Or riding a bike. I remember I
Oh,
remember
for
riding
sure.
a bike. First time I wiped out, fucking full on.
over the handlebars.
Yeah, just done. And made me think twice, but then I learned. But skateboarding, I just didn't find a reason to do it.
Yeah, I again, the brother's probably the reason for it, but I wasn't really allowed to do any other extreme sports. Really, it was like no snowmobile, no nothing.
Did you
like,
always have the straps?
no pads? Like I didn't really need to wear the pads or anything. Like it wasn't that bad, but
May I ask?
yeah, sure.
Does
You can ask whatever.
something that
Not that
We're
I'm
gonna be
against
talking
pads
about-
or anything.
you mentioned earlier and that you were going to talk about it. I feel it's a appropriate time to bring up
For sure.
arthritis.
Yeah, that's a recently diagnosed with hip arthritis.
Do you think that has anything to do with
Oh,
skateboarding?
100%. I'd say like probably 65% is like the cause of skateboarding, along with like my job, which is a lot of standing and lifting. But probably because you're jumping downstairs, and then you're hitting rails and
And on top of falling. because
it's like
even the best fall.
my favorite saying as a skateboarder is like, well, I just won't fall. Yeah, and like that's the mentality you honestly have to have on a skateboard. It's like, I'm not gonna fall. What is falling?
I saw a video online. There was a bodybuilder on a skateboard, and he was up on one of those ramps, and he went, and the minute that board went down,
Oh, and they'll drop it. Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
he just went
I instantly
right to
know
the
what you're
floor.
talking about. It's because they always get overconfident and they just lean back, and as soon as they lean back, it's like leaning tower. You're done. You're good.
So what's the tip? You
you
just
just have
stay
to.
forward?
You have to like stomp your foot in and lean forward over your front leg.
Interesting.
It's not like a literal
Yeah, I
stomp.
think I heard something too. You got to bend, right?
It's not like bend your knees. You're not gonna go anywhere with straight legs, right?
Yeah,
That's a good way to break your legs.
Yeah, it's a good way to break your legs or knees.
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy when you see how they flip the board and
And that all just honestly comes from practice. You know,
not happening, but
you don't get on a skateboard and just like start to do tricks all right away. It's like learn to ride the thing first. Like, can you stand on it? Can you not fall while you're standing?
Yeah.
Maybe rolling a little bit. And it's like my first thing I tell people when they're gonna learn how to skate: don't even try to flip the board at all. Try to ride to like the end of the road and see if you can do that first. You know, because like you won't be able to do all that cool stuff until you have control over just using it.
for sure.
Right? Like anything, I guess.
You mentioned like how you 100% think that some of the arthritis or all of it has to do with skateboarding
Yeah.
and the bending and falling and
Yeah, and the twist. It's just a
do
lot
they
of-
make padding for like what kind of? Because I know the typical hockey padding, for example. You got your chest protector, your fucking jock, you got your pants, your shin pads, so on. What kind of equipment is there for skateboarding?
I don't think there's anything like
Is it
for
just-
my hip. Like if we're going to go like for my injury, for example, like there's nothing for like your hips really that I know of. You could. I don't think there's pants or anything that you could wear. As far as I know, it's just like knee pads, elbow pads, helmet.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's what rest is.
Like the rest of your body is like you. That's
I've
why
seen-
like
over
if you see
years-
people in those huge half pipes, like there's a term to hit the knee slide. So as soon as you know you're gonna fall, your legs go under you and your knees just take all the impact with the pads. It's a really wild concept. Vert skating is something
Sorry.
else on its
Sorry.
own. And then being so young, another cat by the tripod. They really like the tripod.
Cats are being really, really bad tonight.
They really like the tripod.
It's okay, buddy. Oh my god! I put him down and then he fights another one. They are being annoying.
28
But that's okay,
obviously.
buddy. Or
Gilmore.
I got too many.
The cats are everywhere. They haven't knocked the tripod over yet, thankfully.
Apologize. But again,
28 obviously is a little young for arthritis.
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
my doctor said, it's like, oh, you know, we don't usually see this till 50. I was like, that's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
It's not like uncommon to get it like early on, but it's definitely it's definitely not good news to hear, right? Like arthritis doesn't go away, especially once you have it. The only thing you can do is strengthen your body to make it better.
And working out,
And
exercising.
honestly, skateboarding lately at 28 hasn't really felt the greatest with the hip. I've went the last few times and it just like you can feel like the whole. I don't feel like I'm myself on the
Fucks with the passion.
Yeah,
I
it just fucks with how you feel on the board, really. Like you bend down to do a trick and then you can feel it, and it's just like, well, you just always feel it.
Now it's only in your hips, you said?
Always, only in my hips, but
Is it gonna spread?
no, I don't think so.
And is there medication you could take to?
There is, but I don't want to take it.
How come?
I've always been against medication. Myself,
Fair
I
enough.
mean, I take Advil and Tylenol here and there, but like
What about procedures?
procedures, I don't think I'm that far ahead in arthritis that I need any like surgeries or anything, or if that's what you mean by procedures.
Yeah, like surgeries or some sort of a
I had
injection to.
there is I've looked up a little bit of info on it. I just did get diagnosed, so I don't know a whole lot of info on it.
That's true. Yeah.
But my buddy that I've been skating with for a few months just moved out of province. Not exactly sure where. Shout out Johnny. He has the exact same thing as me, but he has it so bad he needs double hip replacement in 5 years,
Oh my god.
and he'll only be 35.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
he'll only be 35 years old and needs double hip replacement. And I really
Is there certain stages to it?
yeah.
What stage?
He told me he let his go on for 2 years. Just he said whatever, like I'll live with it. And by the time he actually got it checked out, his hip arthritis was so far gone that he needs replacement.
Ooh.
He said, this is all the info he gave me. I'm like, he's gone through it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm assuming all this info was correct. And he's like, there's a minor surgery where they basically just grind down your hip bone.
Mm-hmm.
His is what I know.
Like,
It's all,
getting that done at
I'm
35.
very
is-
optimistic about this. I'm sure it'll hit me if it happens, but I'm usually an optimistic person. But what he has is called hip impingement, and basically your hip bone overgrows to compensate for your arthritis,
Mhm.
and your hip bone actually starts grinding in the cup of your hip.
Yeah. Starts going.
And like I don't want to say I have that, but when I can extend my leg and I hear a little crack
Well,
or crunch, right?
Earlier, before we were recording, he bends down to sit,
That's my
sit
knees.
down there. I heard a dozen things crack. You're a skeleton.
I'm sure there's other people that have it, but when I bend my knees from like pretty much a teenager,
Mhm.
my knees always cracked when I would bend down.
Yeah.
But now it's like now it's more than that, right? It's like
Yeah.
you twist one way, crack, crack, crack. Yeah. Feeling optimistic about the arthritis right now. I think I've caught it early enough that I could get some, even the minor surgery. I don't even if it's that minor surgery. He's like, even if you get that, like that's what you want. You don't want the replacement, right?
Yeah, no, for
Okay.
sure. And not only that, you're still young. You could always exercise, work out.
And which I started going to the gym lately.
That's good.
I've gone a few times this last week,
Nice.
and the gym's always that's another topic. The gym's just always been a hard subject for me. I don't got the
Insecurities or
not at first. Not this time. I used to go to the gym back in the day.
my
Getting off the topic, but
no, not at all. It's funny because I could relate to you on that. Public gyms, I've never stepped foot into one. I had some insecurities, you know. Yeah, growing up there, and my older brother made it really, really fucking easy. It's funny because I'm not the biggest or anything, but I should have capitalized more on it, but I'm starting to now. But he, I got cream here.
Oh.
He has his own private gym, and that's been like that for quite a few years now, where I could literally go whenever I want, go in his basement and work out at no cost. And he has all kinds of machines, everything. It's quite nice. How are you doing, Kyle? You good?
Good.
Spoon. Savannah, I don't mean to bother. Thank you
Need a
so
spoon.
much.
Thank you.
That was kind of like me when I started working out at the military gym. I would be really insecure. Like I'm not big by any means, but when I used to go in high school, when I was actually training for sports, I would go every single day because I wasn't working at the time.
Mhm.
I would be going Monday to Friday. Depends. It really doesn't depend on the time.
Whenever you're free.
Yeah, I go whenever I was free, and I was getting big, and then I guess just life got in the way, and now I have my own personal gym in my home.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But for like what you're saying, and even you, I same thing. I never step foot in a public gym. I probably never will. Who knows? I might change. But why would I? I have a perfect setup at my brother's, and I'm sure one day down the road when I got
Don't
a house.
change it if it ain't broke, man.
Exactly. And not only that, he's the best partner to work out with. He makes sure you go hard, and it's awesome every time.
Speaking of gym, I recently got a membership at the Y.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like a really good plan for me because it's so much more than the gym.
Yeah.
You get the gym, you can go in the pool, which the pool apparently good for the arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Sauna, hot tub, like they had so much stuff, and I'm like, you know what, that's worth the membership, because there's a full gym, you can play basketball, you can run track, like the Y has it all.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's worth it to me.
One thing I like about our apartment, and his older brother lives here, and I know what you're doing is smart, and that's another thing we could talk about.
Yeah,
is
we can. Just living in general, right?
living in general. Like in this apartment, we got a pool outside, so in the summertime, full access to a nice pool. So I think with getting back into working out and everything, I want to utilize that pool and
get in the pool, man.
do some exercises.
For sure.
It'd be great.
The pool's great.
But there's always apartments around here. It's too bad you didn't have a spot here, because how awesome would that be, living in the same apartment as your brother?
It would be cool.
But
I do come here a lot.
You do come here a lot,
Yeah.
and not only that, you have a pretty wicked. You have a wicked setup.
I have the parking pass. I have my brother's parking pass in my car.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you live at home.
I do. I'm milking it.
Rightfully
I'm
so.
paying rent, but like not as much as you would like trying to live on your own or something. You know,
Your parents are letting you save and
letting me save. You know,
do it properly.
exactly.
For example, me, I moved out too soon. I wasn't ready, and I had everybody tell me, I told you so. But you live and learn.
But at the same time, I feel like in a sense it's almost better that you did that, because I feel kind of like a child sometimes still being at home, if that makes sense.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing.
You should always have kid in you.
Oh,
Don't
no.
ever,
That's not what I meant.
like maturity wise.
Just maturity,
and how other
like
people look
overall
at you.
as a person.
You
Like,
treat like a
I'm
child.
always gonna be like kid at heart.
Yeah.
But like just the like I'm still at home.
Yeah.
Not that it's an issue, but like I should go out one day,
Mm-hmm.
like. But again, I'm milking it, trying to save that money.
No, that's I wouldn't.
That's
I
the
wouldn't.
situation.
I wouldn't say you should feel like a child, because really, there's nothing wrong with it. Like,
Lots of people are doing
you-
it.
I'm
Lots
sure-
of people are doing it.
I know you well enough to know you're the type of guy that, pulls your load, and you do what you
I
gotta
do my stuff. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not like you're just freeloading. And
Yeah.
there's a huge difference. I know people out there that they don't help out with fuck all, they freeload, and not only that, they don't try to save. So
Yeah,
it's like
sure.
that's a huge thing. Is if you're just getting older and you got no plan, you got no backup plan, and you're not helping your parents or whatever, that's not okay. But if you're saving up for a better future and your parents are on board, fuck, even all more to them, right?
Yeah.
Because I've had friends that their parents are right away at 18. They want them out,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's what parenting is. It's a lifetime commitment.
Yeah.
And my dad was never ever shy to express that to us. That he never once tried to move any of his kids out. He was, I'm sure to this day, he's more than wanting, because he underlined it to me, the aspects of family and how time goes fast, and time doesn't stop for nobody.
Time moves, man.
And one thing, like, there was a point in life where I lived at home with my two brothers, my sister, and we were all in a big house, and to know that will never happen again, it makes you think twice on it, you know what I mean? And I tell my younger brother that, like, appreciate home a lot more, like, respect and do your part, but he's maybe he could come on here one time and he could talk about a thing or two, living at home, but
Honestly.
give me ready. But no, it's definitely something, like, if I wouldn't even consider it milking. If it's something that's just
That's just how I call it.
if it's presented to you, fucking take it, because being 18, thinking back to when I first moved out, or I was older than 18. I think I was 20 or 21. However, you think you have the answers. You think oh yeah, you got this, and fuck, you learn a whole different way.
Yeah.
But it definitely teaches you, and it for the better, or sometimes for some people it can be for the worse. Like you can move it in and out, but sometimes that kid or whatever, they move out, they don't have that second chance to moving back in and trying again. They're on the street, and that's the sad part. Gizmo will make his appearances.
We got a friend now.
I mean, I moved out when I was 20. I was already on my own for two years. I went to college out of a province, and I was just pretty much make my own food. I had room and board, but that was from work my ass off in school.
Mm-hmm.
But I had no idea how to pay bills.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I had no idea. Like, how do I pay electric? How do I pay this? How do I pay that? I'm like, I have no idea how to do this. What do I do? So I had to call one of my foster parents and say, oh, you do this. I'm like, okay. Can you show me how to do this? Yeah, go. This is how you do it. And like, this is how you do it. And it's like, oh, well, thank you. I'll call you back if I have any other questions. I mean, it really is hard to live on your own and you have no idea how to pay or set up a bank account or a checking account or whatever.
That's like going back how you said some parents just kick their kids out when they're 18. It's like they don't even know half of the things that they need for that.
I'm 26 and I have awesome parents that that teach you, and not only that, my older sister, my older brother, you learn from them too as you get older, and it's not that I've learned a lot, but at the same time you still feel like you don't know enough, and nobody knows everything. The minute you think you know it all is the minute you stop
learning. You're always looking for more.
Yeah.
More answers.
And I just there was something I wanted to say when we were talking, I forgot, but you mentioned foster parents.
Yes.
So were you so you were 18 when you moved out?
I was 17. I was 17 when I graduated high school, and then I graduated right on my birthday.
Nice.
So my safeguard was on
your birthday.
My birthday.
Nice.
So then I had to catch a flight the next day and go to Portland, Oregon, which is in the States.
Yes.
And you lived there for how long?
I lived there for 2 years.
Okay. And then you came back here?
I came back to Winnipeg, yes.
Nice.
And at the start there, you mentioned how you have full custody of your sister there, and
yes.
How did that come about? Because you mentioned foster parents, and then you moved out when you were 18.
Yeah. The whole with the full custody, I was visiting my mom one day, and as my foster parents are, my foster dad had passed away from a cardiac arrest, and as he was a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And after my foster dad passed away, my mom was never the same. Mm-hmm. She would get overly angry. She would be threatening people.
Dealing with that grief,
but not in a positive way.
She wasn't taking it well.
No, she wasn't taking it well. It was really hard for me, my little sister. My big sister had already moved out.
How old was your little sister?
My little sister was 5 at the time.
And how old were you?
I was 20?
20-ish?
20-ish. And as I started feeling like it's gonna happen. Like it's one day she's gonna blow up and she's gonna hurt my little sister. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna get a lawyer. I'm gonna get CFS involved, and I did not want to do that because I loved my foster mom. She took me in when no one else would.
Mm-hmm.
I was a trouble kid back when I was in
If you
the
don't
orphanage.
mind me asking, not to cut you off, but you mentioned foster mom and foster dad.
Yes.
Your little sister and you, do you guys have the same biological parents?
No, we are. I consider, well, the proper term would be stepsister.
Yes.
I call her my sister because she is my blood from right now.
Of course.
Yeah. She's not biological,
But she's your sister.
but
Your
she's
family.
my sister. I
I
love
feel
her.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I forgot where I was.
Sorry.
You were getting a lawyer.
Oh yeah,
and all
getting
that stuff.
I was getting a lawyer, CFS involved, and I rang CFS and I said I want to take full custody of my little sister, and she's like, okay, well these are the steps you need to take.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I was living at my own on the time,
Mhm.
and when I was 21 or 22, that's where I set my plan into motion. I know it sounds like a cliche spy.
But you did have a plan.
Yeah, I had a plan.
Yeah.
But then I said, okay, court, lawyer, this. We showed up in court, and I laid out the facts. We were in family court, which was the most uncomfortable feeling I've ever had. It was uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
It was, how do you say it? Just uncomfortable.
How long was it?
Kind of like you felt the energy was off.
I felt
in
the
room.
energy was like, but it's like, oh, why is this 22, 21, 22-year-old fighting for custody for his little sister? I felt like everybody was just saying, oh, this woman knows how to parent more than this punk.
You felt like you already had like she had the upper hand.
Yeah, she had the upper hand.
Yeah.
Now, what made you take her to court on what she did to your little sister?
I was visiting my mom one day, foster mom, and I heard some screaming coming from my door.
Okay.
Well, the door, and I knew it was like, oh, she's gonna flip,
Mm-hmm.
and she was already in the middle of flipping.
And how long after did you notice the change?
Probably right when we cremate, like the change of like
Her mood.
Her mood. You mentioned how you noticed her moods got more and more, and her just the way she was acting.
Probably a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, so it wasn't long.
It wasn't
pretty
long.
quick,
It was
bro.
very
Switch.
very quick transition to
So you heard screaming coming from the door.
yeah, screaming coming from the door, and me, whenever I hear screaming, I think of back in when I was a kid, like I'm talking like 15, 16-year-old. This is when I was adopted. I was orphaned at 6 years old, but I was adopted at 15.
It's another thing that happened.
There's another thing that happened, but that's a different issue. So I heard screaming, and that usually sets me. It's like, okay, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Bad screaming
Never
is
want
bad.
to hear screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, especially
So-
if it's a girl too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I pretty much I mustered all my strength, and I busted in and said, "You pack some things. You come with me." And she said, "You can't do it." I'm like, "Yeah, I can. I fought you in court. This is how it's gonna be. I'll see you in court." I just took her. She put some clothes in the backpack. Came in, and I took her, and CFS. 15 minutes later, CFS is right at my door knocking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the problem? It's like, you just took her without any proper authorization. Like, yeah, I got half custody. I might go for full custody if this shit keeps happening.
How did you get half custody?
Half custody, that was the first court date when we went to court. I got half custody. You can't do full custody in.
You gotta do. It's like another topic. But you get 50-50, and then you have to fight again, right?
They have to fight again
Oh,
for
I
full
never heard
custody.
Okay.
You can't go straight for full custody.
You can't go
So
full.
this is the second time around.
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
second time around. So
And before you continue, if you don't mind asking, is it the second time more difficult than the first?
second time is pretty much. It's pretty much you either get it or you get zero custody. So yes, it is very hard. So I had to plead my case hard with sufficient evidence. I mean, I was
Saving everything.
saving everything, every conversation we had.
Yeah.
I was saving how she went to school, she came back, I got her, she came back, she ate, she did her homework or whatever, she went to bed, I got her up at a certain time. Pretty much every routine I had to write down.
Yeah.
You're being a father figure.
I was being a father figure.
You had to
For
be
sure.
that father figure. Yeah, true.
I had to be that father figure, yes. And pretty much second time around, I said, yeah, I have half custody. I'm taking her over right now. When my mom calms down or when she starts taking her meds, I will give her back.
Yeah.
But if I hear this again, I am starting for full custody, and that is nothing you have to worry about. I'll figure that out when we have our next meeting.
Yeah.
Which was, we have meetings prepared. Usually it's like 2 weeks or a week, or they can do or they could do just a drop it and see how we're doing it.
Yeah.
They're pretty much, they're the government. They can drop in when me and my little sister are having a little argument.
And they can take that as
They can take
you're
that
not
as
fit.
yeah.
And I see, yeah.
So it's hard, but still I say it's a little bit rewarding.
Yeah.
I mean, I presented my little sister with a.
And you won, right?
Yeah, I won full custody. I pleaded as hard as I can, and I was presented with full custody when I was 24.
And you're 20.
And I'm 26 right now.
Okay.
So I won full custody 2 years ago.
So she's been living with you now for 2 years?
She's been living with me now for 2 years,
So
and
she's 7 or?
She's 7, 8?
she's 7 right now.
Okay.
So, she's getting up there, but like you said, time is precious.
Yeah.
One day she'll be 16 or 17 or 18, and she'll say, "Dad, I want to move out." It's like, okay, well, you always have a home here.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
one other question,
Really,
I guess.
Sorry.
So you can go ahead.
What kind of evidence? Because
I was good.
I faced court once in my life, and it was a very interesting experience. And that's a different topic if it ever even, who knows. But I've been in court once in my life, and well, for one situation. And then how long did your case go? Like for me, I had a deal where it was like months, and it was like case after case, or what would you call it? Not a case.
Court date.
Court date, yeah. Court date after court date. How long of a
I believe
frame?
this first one was, 2 weeks. 2 weeks of 3 hearings, and I guess 4 days of deliberating. I believe that's the term. Deliberating.
Like deciding.
I don't.
I think that's right.
And then the second time it was 2 days and 6 days of deliberating.
So it was shorter the second time.
It was shorter the second time.
Is
So
that
what
because
kind-
your evidence was significant enough?
The evidence was pretty much,
It-
I hate to say the word, but
Blatantly
damning.
obvious.
It was damning.
What kind of evidence, if you don't mind me asking?
I was recording the fight. I was recording if she was taking her meds or not. I was recording everything. I had
When you say fight, like what kind of fight?
Between you and her?
between me and her, and
Okay.
between me and my mom, foster mom.
Foster.
Okay.
Foster mom. And if mom was taking her meds, I'm just gonna call her mom because
Yeah.
Yeah,
My mom.
for sure.
I'm just gonna call the fights between me and my mom. And pretty much all the evidence, how she would treat me, how she treat my little sister, and I believe the evidence was, I guess, sufficient enough. Well, I'm not even gonna say sufficient. It was
pretty
damning evidence, yeah.
Do you still talk to your mom?
Yes, we have a better relationship now.
Yeah.
She has been taking her meds right now,
That's
and
And really quick, like that's an important reminder too. Like medication's huge. If somebody's taking medication, it's important to keep that on routine, and because it does help some people, and it depends what it is, of course, and whatnot. But like if somebody's struggling, always try to get help. Like that's good that you guys are on good terms, because it's not like you were fighting to take her away, and I'm sure she still sees her, right? But it's just you have full custody.
You just
and
did what
take
you
care
had
of
to
her.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did
So,
what you had to do.
Good on you for doing
for sure.
what you're doing, and good on the both of you for maintaining that mature relationship, especially for your sister.
Yeah.
You mentioned how you were an orphan,
Yes, I was orphaned at 6 years old.
and if you could refresh me, orphan, what is that? I'm having a brain fart.
It's orphan.
Yeah, you want to
Maybe
explain?
you
Oh, sorry, I thought, no, you're talking.
You're asking me. It's not my story.
An orphan is pretty much when either both your parents die in a, I guess I'll use from mine. They both die in a car crash.
Mhm.
They were killed instantly. So after that, they would go through all the proceedings. If they had any family members who would want to take me, but no one wanted to do because my family had a falling out at the time.
Okay.
There was some stuff going on. That's a whole different issue.
Yeah.
But no one wanted to take me, so I landed in an orphanage.
Okay. Now, your sister, how old was she?
My sister was a infant at the time.
Okay. Wow. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I've come to terms with it.
Yeah.
It's I gotta say the orphanage was hell.
Of course.
Hell, you might want to go there for some R&R after being in an orphanage. There's some stuff that it was run. No disrespect to nuns, but
We don't care who.
They do not know how to run an orphanage.
It's just in this.
Don't worry about offending anybody.
They don't know how to run an orphanage. Pretty much the only way how they proceed is beatings.
All the way down the history line. I feel like that's how it's been.
You don't have to answer, but like, did you end up making any friends or keeping in touch or finding people throughout there, or like you hear stories about places like that, and it's a fact, but you hear some really really horrifying, sad stories that come from places like that, like touching and shit like that. Do you know anybody or?
Yes, there was one girl I met. We kind of started a little romance, I guess you could say, in the orphanage.
Johan and romance.
Yeah, her name was Alexis for short. I called her Alex.
Wait. Are you sure you want a name drop?
I'm using fake name.
Oh, nice.
It was so smooth.
That was smooth. Okay, I just want to make sure.
So,
keep it safe.
Alexis for short. She was probably the most funniest girl you can meet. But she was the girl who you go to if you're having a shitty day. We were in the same predicament. Her mom was gravely ill, and her dad was fighting with her brother the entire time. So, we started a little romance. I mean, we kiss and all that jazz.
You were young too.
Yeah, we were young kids.
You guys were more just best friends. You
guys
guys
experimenting a little bit. Yeah.
Side by side in that orphanage.
Yeah. And pretty much if you're having a shitty day, you really go to her. We would play chess, checkers, play with whatever there is. Mm-hmm. She also played guitar, and I also was learning guitar at the time, so she taught me how to play better with guitar.
Nice.
And pretty much it was just that was the best probably times of my life.
Yeah. What was horrible? Yeah. What was horrible about the orphanage? Because you said that was the best time of your life, but then it was also so bad, right?
Yeah.
That was the nuns.
That was the nuns. Yeah. The beatings.
Yeah. Was it just beatings?
Beatings and
would they? Sorry again. Would they? I guess they.
We're so fucking Canadian. Sorry.
Sorry. Well, interrupting, you know?
Yeah.
You don't mean to interrupt. And
thank you.
Beatings, was it just like over the knee, or was it just everything in general?
Oh, there was rulers, there was everything. Straps, there was
all sorts of beatings.
What year, like what time frame was this? Because like, has that changed? And I
You're
really
wondering
don't
how current orphanages are like this?
Yeah. Because isn't a lot of shit like that they say is done away with now?
Because what year was that in?
That was back. Holy crap!
Gotta count back years.
Yeah, I gotta count back years. That was probably back, so that was
2000.
that was probably in the 2000s.
2000 something.
2000 something. So, I hope that the orphanage system has changed.
We hope so.
We hope so,
that the
because
kids are doing better out there.
Because I wouldn't want to have someone who's lost their parents and they're already suffering enough and go to orphanage and suffer some more.
I'm sure you're not the only one that has their own horror stories and from those places, you know.
So when I asked, like, was it just beatings, or
Beatings,
or
yes,
like,
just beatings.
do you know anybody that was ever, or there's one, not orphanages, but orphanages. What is it? Orphanage.
Orphanage.
Okay. So there's I guess that's never mind. We'll stay away from that.
We're staying away from that topic.
It clicked in my head what it was. That's my opinion.
But I know exactly what you're gonna say, and I was gonna say
priests.
Yes, there's priests.
Nuns. So
nuns,
there has to be
priests.
priests.
Yeah.
So did priests touch kids?
There was some.
Sorry.
There was some instances that happened. Yes, it's happened.
So that's why that's why I said it was
Yes.
just beatings.
Yes, it was more than beatings, and there was some.
Just not with you?
No.
Okay.
No, I was afraid of that, and if
Thankfully, never happened.
nothing happened,
Gotcha.
I've heard some kids doing that, and it fucked them up royally.
What do you mean?
Pardon my French.
What do you mean? I heard of the kids doing that. You mean it happened to them? And
It happened to them, and their life.
You're never the same.
They're never the same.
Yeah.
It hurts mentally, physically, and emotionally.
I can imagine.
Of course.
There's this condition called post-rape syndrome. It's a medical term for people who have experienced that type of assault.
Yeah.
And pretty much, it's not about power. It's more they feel comfortable of what happened and they let it define them, which is a bad.
It becomes their life.
It becomes their life.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And as that thing goes on, it can get worse and worse. And sometimes the kid just snaps one day, and
I was just gonna say, it makes somebody snap.
Someone snap, and it comes back ugly.
For sure.
Or they can end up hurting themselves.
Hurting
other people, you know, and it just becomes.
Do you know any you mentioned that what it is and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know so much about that?
Well, let's just say I did my research on that orphanage, and I
because you were nervous about it.
I was nervous about it, and I pretty much did all the evidence, talked to the claims, I talked to some of the people who are 18 now, over 18.
And I've
So
been
you've kept touch with some of them.
I kept touch with some of them.
Yeah.
And I had that orphanage closed down.
That's good. That's good.
Because
do you remember the name of it or
no?
No.
And I wouldn't want to name drop the
institution.
Well,
Yeah,
it's closed now, right? So
it's closed now. Yeah, it's condemned.
Oh. What was that in Winnipeg?
That was in Winnipeg.
Oh
shit.
Man.
Interesting.
Learned something new about your own hometown. Well, it's good that you helped get it shut down. You know, you and other people, I'm assuming, started a thing to get it shut down.
Yeah, petition
to get it shut down. Yeah. So happy-ish and to get it done, to get that shut down.
Yeah, I felt it was a good moment. I felt really happy with myself.
Yeah.
It's a good deed.
Yeah. Me, I'm a good person in general.
Mm-hmm.
I like having to help people. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to cause harm.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some days we all have our dark days.
Of course. The demons come in every
The
once in a
demons
while.
come in, up, down, left, right, center. It all comes down to who you are and what kind of traumas you received in your past life.
Everybody has different chapters in their life, and nobody has the same book, right? personal experiences. Like it's crazy how life works out. And like when I first met you, I had no fucking idea, you know, what you've gone through or anything. And you come across as a good guy, and I've slowly been able to get to know you. I still don't know you all that well, but I'm slowly getting to know you and getting to know you as well. I see you a little bit more often because you're Kyle's brother. But
I'm here every once in a while. But
Yeah.
I guess we're both kind of here every once in a
Yeah.
while. We're both.
this is
So
the
you're our
hangout
hangout
spot.
spot.
Yeah, this is the hangout spot.
We come chill sometimes I'm busy on Friday, so I don't come. But let's say I decided to come this Friday. Well, Saturday because Saturday.
Out of the 2 times I'm here,
Out
you're
of
here
the
one of
2
the times.
times. One of the times.
Yeah.
So Fridays usually I'm here. We like to hang out. We get to know each other because that's the best way. Go out and
You learn new
explore
people.
life.
My bro's not here because he has to sleep for work.
Yeah.
He would have been here.
Yeah, you would have been on.
Yeah.
He'll definitely be on a future episode there. But it just shows a lot how you can learn and hear different stories of people. That's like kind of one of my main goals too, is with this channel, is whoever comes on, I just want to learn a bit more about people's lives and their experiences. Like we all have our own thing in life that has either traumatized us or like, you know, battled through something or over fought it. And you know, sometimes I've almost given up. Like 18-year-old me would have never pictured myself being in the position I'm in now. And it's crazy how life works out. And like, you're a very respectful young adult man, right? You're a good shit, and anytime I see you, you never are disrespectful, or like you're always very polite, and you wouldn't think twice that you've gone through what you've gone through, right? And same goes for even your brother Kyle and you, and it's nice to learn as you go and meet people that you never think you would ever meet.
Yeah.
And
that you once thought was like a stranger.
yeah, exactly. Like I never would have thought that my best friends would be who they are today. I still have 1 or 2 that are still there throughout my childhood years, but even living here, like when I first moved out, we talked earlier about not being ready. I was far from ready. And you know how you said you didn't know how to pay bills?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I thought, like, I moved out and I didn't have a license, and then I got my license. And when I got my car, I just signed off papers thinking, yeah, I got a car. And I was thinking, well,
no.
I just got to pay the $230 every 2 weeks, and I can drive this thing wherever I want, just worry about the gas. Nope, there's insurance, it's paying for your license, you get into an accident, it's even more, and, you know, you live and learn.
Yeah, you live and learn. And it quickly piles up.
Moving out, it was till this day, I feel like now I'm doing better than I've ever
That's
done.
why I was saying, even I think I said it earlier, it's like in a way it's like almost equally as good that you did, because you learned,
taught me so much.
You taught.
Yeah.
I feel like myself, I still need to learn that info when
For
that
sure.
happens to me one day. You know?
And everybody
And
learns
everyone
on their
will
own
still
time.
have to learn that info.
Everybody learns on their own time.
Yeah.
It's just sad that when some kids are
They're
young
forced
adults,
into that scenario.
they're not ready at that time, and they have no other option, right? Like you
Mhm.
look at you, I'm sure you weren't fucking ready to be just thrown into an
all that
orphanage.
responsibility, so like all of a sudden. But
So-
you made that decision. You're like, I gotta.
Yeah, because I've grown up with screaming parents. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's a horrible experience.
You know, it's I wouldn't say like going like in my experience, like not the same kind. Like that's like an extreme scenario.
Yeah.
But even just having parents that argue all the time can have a major effect on your brain and just
Oh,
like
absolutely.
who you are as a person, because that's all you see, right?
Yeah,
For
it's,
sure.
it's the mental scarring that happens to it screws you up. Like all you know is
You're
screaming
arguing.
and yelling and arguing.
Yeah.
And when you being brought up that way, it's not a fun time.
It's hard to find peace.
Yeah.
After that, right?
Because all you hear is yelling,
And then
you start picking up from your parents.
But not only that, there's 2 ways you can look at it. You can either pick it up, or you can learn from it. So,
that's the hard part. I guess.
but it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
The one thing I will always remember, and I will always keep with me, is what my dad said, is you can never teach parenting. So it's easy for us kids to sit, talk, and hear and remember the yelling.
Yeah.
But we, as kids, never knew what the yelling was about.
The parenting was,
And
yes.
As we get older, we're going to find out ourselves. And that's the tricky part is you don't know how you're going to handle it. You don't know how you're going to handle it. I don't know how I'll handle it. And everybody has their own ways. And you'll never, there's no rule book on to being a parent or what not to do in front of your
There's
kid.
no how to.
Exactly. There's like, I'm sure all of our parents, gotten into arguments and whatnot, but yeah, I bet your ass they tried their best. And sometimes in life, you just can't prevent that kid or those kids seeing or hearing certain things. And so you could take it and you could live with it as, oh, well, that's what my dad or that's what my mom did, and you could do the same. Or you could take it and it's like, try to change it, but who says it's going to even work? Because everybody, we're only human. Everybody raises their voice. Everybody gets mad. Everybody reacts to different situations differently. And I feel like there's so many human beings, but you'll never meet a parent that's the same. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own techniques, or whether somebody likes to use formula or breastfeed, right? Like parenting is going to be different no matter who you meet. And that's an interesting thing to think about if you're ever going to be one.
When I was cleaning up my dad's things, I noticed a piece of parchment paper, and what I read was just the most, not gut-wrenching, but like a slap in the face. Not really it's like...
Sorry, you...
I was cleaning up my dad's things.
And you found a note.
I found a piece of parchment.
Was this after he passed?
This is after he's passed.
Okay. This is your foster dad, correct?
This is my real dad.
Your real father.
My real father.
Sorry about that.
And I was cleaning up the attic, and I saw this piece of paper, and it was like rules. Not rules, but like rules of life. Like, I'll try and transcribe as better as I can, because I would have to read it. It's like, how do you go? It's like,
He's loaded. He's
I'm loaded, but
He's loaded.
He's loaded.
If it comes
we
back
can come
to
back
you,
to it if you want.
Yeah, come back to me.
But do you like, without saying what it was, like rules, kind of like what to do, what not to do, or
just like aspects of life.
Aspects of life.
I don't know if I heard this or not. I think you said that it felt like a slap in the face.
Yeah, it's like
what felt like it was a slap in the face. Maybe that might help you remember.
It's not really more of a slap in the face. It's more of a
what
realization.
Check.
Was it a realization?
It was a realization.
Like so you read it and you were like, oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it ring a bell?
Yeah. Damn it.
It doesn't gotta be exact. Do you have do you have like a rough?
Probably a rough wording would be. See. Holy crap!
This is
that's no worries. We'll
it's all good.
Come back to it.
Dude, just think about it. We can come back. To it.
But no, like me personally, the do's and don'ts, right? One of my biggest do's is, or making sure of, is always treating a girl like you want your mother
with respect,
your daughter, or your sister to be treated. Yeah, respect, and like you try that, right? And another thing, I was talking to my dad the other night on the other episode. There is, you can tell a lot on how somebody treats an animal. You know what I mean?
the saying, if an animal goes to someone, you know they're a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot to it, but yeah, no, the do's and don'ts and the rules to life. It's I think it's endless. You could always find new rules in life, and like you're always learning new shit, and yeah, nobody has the rule book to life. Let's just put it that way.
I feel, no matter how far you go down, you just feel you're just always learning new things.
Yep.
Yeah. Even my mom, me and my mom have conversations sometimes. You know, even she's telling me, it's like, I don't know everything still. You know, I think that's for most people, even people her age. You know, she's like 60 years old. You know, she's still learning.
Your mom's 60?
Yeah. Well, 1960s. That's 60 something. Yeah.
Now, really quick, because I want to probably get one more topic in here before we wrap it up. I don't know how long the video's looking, but
59 minutes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
We've been talking about some stuff.
There's one thing I do.
You remember?
I remember.
You remembered.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay, this is gonna be a rough thing.
Okay.
So
Now you're just making things up.
No,
I'm just kidding.
when a man knows he thinks everything, that's when he's lost the ability to learn.
Oh yeah, when the minute you think you know it all is the minute you stop learning.
Yeah,
And
wow.
that hit me hard. Like that hit me like a semi freight train.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know
sure.
what? Yeah, it's like just keep learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned how like you're close with your mom and how in life in general you're always learning and how there's things you don't know.
Yeah.
One thing I'm curious about is we mentioned earlier, and we were talking. Now stop me right now if you don't want me to talk.
No,
about
you
it.
can. If we're going,
I'm curious to know.
if you're gonna bring it, it goes back to learning experiences.
Yes.
If I think you're gonna bring up what I think you're gonna bring
I
up.
believe so. Relationships
Yeah.
and open relationships.
Just
I
from-
mentioned earlier in the
Just
video.
from learning different things, you know. That's just.
Really quick, I mentioned earlier in the video how Cody he was going to talk about open relationships.
I don't title it that, but that's what people viewing from the outside would title it.
Okay, so if you don't mind going, and there's no time limit here, go into a little bit of detail on the pros and cons of it, and explain to me what it is in your mind. Like from the outside, I look at
Well-
an open relationship, but
I'll start it off by saying,
kind of what you told me outside.
I
I thought it was interesting.
I'll even start earlier than that. I guess
Beauty.
I won't name drop my love, but I'll just call her my love. Me and her call her the love of our lives. And
And your mom doesn't know this?
my mom doesn't know. I think she might keel over if she found out. Honestly, she's just so old generation. She's
Yeah.
not used to this info.
Yeah.
I've never told her. Don't tell my dad. You know, it's just. But Kyle knows. My brother
So-
knows.
Feel honored that you're.
Oh, see, but you would get it. You get it. You
Yeah.
would understand. Hopefully you
And
understand.
hey, I'm sure there's going to be other people that.
And people out there,
Me
I'm sure
personally-
there's people that might watch this that have that.
I
kind
live
of-
my life a completely different way, and relationship wise, it's a different way.
And I
But
don't know if it's gonna stay this way, but right now, that's how it is.
you're young.
Anyway,
and
I'm getting. We're not at that part.
I'll stop getting young. Take it away.
I guess. So what was your?
May I
What
be
was the
excused?
Oh, absolutely.
bathroom break?
Yep.
I guess I'll start off by saying it wasn't always that way. It was a friendship first. Bed friendship first. Bedroom friendship first. When you're going on an online dating app, that's always how it is. You're not going on there to find someone you're dating right away. It's always like, okay, like I'm going to meet someone.
You're basing off looks, and anybody that
Everyone
wants
who knows what
to,
Tinder
anybody that
is.
wants to argue that,
If anyone's
shove it up your ass.
If anyone's gonna
'cause
argue Tinder's for dating, you're wrong. It's not for dating.
no relationship ever works out on that shit.
Mine did, but I'm not in a relationship technically.
There you go. So, sorry to burst the bubble.
No, I've met her on Tinder. Like I feel like most people no one meets people organically anymore.
Sorry, gotta cut you off, and I'll let
Maybe
you.
not him.
I met the most sweetest girl,
Oh,
and I know she's sitting over there, and I don't know if she's awake or falling asleep,
love ya.
but I'm gonna say it. I've tried Tinder.
It's awful, right?
It's fucking horrible.
It's awful. Okay.
I got to meet the most perfect. Well, nobody's perfect, but she's the closest damn fucking thing to it.
She's perfect.
Thank you. I got to.
He means perfect.
I've always talked about it in my past and years leading up. I've always wanted to meet somebody the organic way, right? Like it's true. In this generation,
It's really hard to.
In this generation, you can't meet anybody the old school way anymore.
No.
You're not gonna hear kids nowadays talk to their grandparents. How did you guys meet? Oh, I swiped right. I swiped left.
And
Like,
if I ever
it's
have
just-
kids with this lady, that's what they're gonna hear. That's what they're gonna hear.
I actually am one of probably a few nowadays that get to say, no, I got to meet your mother when she, walked by and we picked up conversation and sat down, had a coffee.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that way.
Happen.
It's
And-
the advance of technology.
And I don't want to go off topic too much on what
You're
you're
not
saying.
going off topic.
And
No.
I think it's just because we've reached a point where you can't really approach anyone.
No.
I saw a video, TikTok's popular. Everyone's on TikTok. I saw TikTok. I see multiple people. The moment anyone sees someone coming near them, they'll yell at them to don't approach me. Don't come near me.
Everybody's labeled as a fucking creep. Or,
Not even just
it's-
men, just like anyone
It's,
in general.
it's the generation.
It's
It's a sensitive,
no one-
weak generation.
You can't walk up
Yeah,
to someone
it
and
is.
be
It
like,
really is.
It is.
say I wasn't dating my love, and I saw her on the street. Her name's Gwen. I'm not gonna talk bad about her. I'll name drop. Her name's Gwen. I'll name drop. Her name's Gwen. Not her full name.
Hey,
Abbreviated.
whatever you want.
Anyway, if I were to see her in the street now, I wouldn't even think about going and saying, "Hello, hey, I think you look good. Hey, I think your outfit is nice," because it's
Cops.
just don't come near me. I'm not saying that'll happen.
It's a different world nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm not. Again, don't want to go off topic too much.
Don't worry about it.
But you are fortunate enough that you had a nice organic meeting, right?
Yeah, very lucky.
And I met a love on Tinder. You know.
So back to your
It
story.
started as just like, casual, like, hi, oh, you like video games, I like video games, you like anime, I like anime.
I want to fuck.
No, it wasn't even like that. Fun fact, it was a friendship first, but obviously that comes with it.
Well, were you a friendship?
We met
well,
first.
1 second. Were you a friendship while she was matched with other guys and just have you
We
in
didn't
mind?
talk about that, but I'm assuming everyone who on Tinder is
I had to
talking to
ask.
other people, right?
Yeah. See, unless you don't get matches.
Unless you don't get matches.
I was one with very, very few match. So
And
that's
I don't
why.
think-
That's why.
Here, another topic.
That's why I went with the organic way. That's why I went with the organic way, and I was like, "Fuck it, this thing doesn't do me no good." I'm sitting down.
Tinder profiles are hard to make, okay?
Your
and
picture.
they're picky when it comes to profiles.
Oh, yeah.
You got one bad photo on there. That's it. But
I
anyway,
agree.
getting off topic again. It started off as like, okay, we like mutual things. Let's hang out. Let's meet up. We met up at our local mall. It's called Polo Park. We met up at Polo Park. Her friend came, which I thought was a little weird,
Third wheeling.
but I guess she felt safer, maybe perhaps with her
But
friend.
that might lead to another thing. What you guys are
Oh.
interested in?
Okay, well, that friend can come
Maybe.
back into the story later because I've her friend. That's her like close friend.
Okay.
Anyway, so we hung out one time. Both thought it was awkward, me and her friend, but she didn't. So thankfully that was good. Kind of weird hug at the end.
Okay.
It was not much. We
I
walked
hear
to the mall. I had to buy a
You
skateboard.
you did the 13-year-old kind
Yeah,
of
the
walk through
13-year-old
the
mall
Yeah,
date
okay.
thing, But I'm not very romantic. I can't think of dates very well.
Yep.
Thank God I found a woman who doesn't mind that. I know it's a big thing for some that we need to go. It's like I need an idea to be sent back to me also. Like I can't be the idea maker.
Yeah.
So she's like, let's go meet the mall. I'm like, I'm down for that. That's fine with me. Walk through the mall. Comes over. Another time things happen.
Did she come over with her friend again?
No, she came over to my house
okay.
a separate time just by herself because I guess she got a good vibe from me. A good,
Yeah.
nothing was wrong,
She was free the weekend.
Yeah, and yeah, and then it just kind of was still just a friendship, but it turned into a friends with benefits situation.
Yeah.
And then
And you said there's no label to it. How long?
Then it wasn't.
Yeah.
We'll get to that point.
You
We'll get
mentioned to me like it's been a while now, right?
It's been since 2017. It's been a
Okay.
while. It's been a long time. It's been a long time with this lady. Love her. And yeah, and finally one day I was getting really jealous of the other people, right? Because I didn't have any. I'll be honest, I didn't have anyone else, right? Just had her.
It's funny because Gizmo actually had a lady lover, and then I got him fixed.
Poor Gizmo.
Poor Gizmo.
He was a horn dog.
Same here, Doug.
But anyways,
yeah. So and then one day I was just
Spectacular.
one thing.
no,
One thing about my lady is that she's very just blunt. She'll
Yeah.
tell you how it is. You know, she'll be honest, which that's one of the great things I love about her. She'll tell me how she's feeling straight up most of the time. You know, I get it. Sometimes you don't want to talk. I get it, but I just finally was just like, you know, like I'm only seeing you, and like you're like only seeing, you're like going to hang out with these people sometimes. You know, like do you want to start a
You were starting
relationship?
to get jealous as well.
Oh, of course, 100%.
It happens.
And
to
this
everybody.
was, again, at the start of the relationship years back.
You starting to like her.
I was like, okay, I like this. All right, that's what you do.
That's
I like this girl. Okay, damn, like I want to try to make
Where
her
else it goes.
mine, you know. And then I think I was kind of annoying.
You're gonna go home tonight. She's gonna watch this, and she's gonna be like,
She might not watch it. Maybe she will.
Well, you gotta.
I'll show her.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I just was not liking it, and I was like, you know, like we're hanging out with.
Or seeing other guys.
And it was very rare that she would only do it like I guess spur of the moment.
Mhm.
I was like, we're hanging out a lot, you know, and you know I stopped seeing other people, you know, and
So you probably caught feelings before her then.
unless she, yeah, I guess so.
From
I
what
would
it sounds-
assume so.
From what it sounds like.
From what it sounds like, I did for sure, because she's always been
But at the
a
same
little
time,
questionable when it comes to relationships in
Yeah.
general. Like,
And who knows? That's probably.
that's something maybe who knows?
Yeah.
You've never met her, but maybe one time she might even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll let her know. But I think maybe something made her feel that way, that relationships aren't it. Maybe some failed ones, or just
Yep.
when she was younger, and those
Maybe
aren't
this
really
is just her way
those
of-
aren't really relationships, right?
No, for sure.
And
Well,
then-
it was probably the pull apart date. She probably thought that, you know, is this what a date is? And I'm just.
Yeah.
Fuck,
But
I
then
don't want
again,
to
it's
try
like,
this.
what is a
I
date,
don't want
right?
to try this again.
Yeah. Well, she came over pretty quick after that. So clearly, we got along well. She's really easy to talk to, you know.
So fast forward.
Fast
sometime.
forward sometime, we've started dating, and I forget.
So you started dating, and was that like a label?
That was labeled.
Okay,
Labeled.
then-
We're together. We're not seeing anyone else.
Yeah.
It was a committed relationship,
Okay, gotcha.
and
And how long was that?
I honestly don't even remember. But before COVID started,
Okay, yeah.
is when, well, because we'll get to that part. It was maybe a few years before COVID started. Things were going well, things were going on, and then we took a trip to Guelph, Ontario. Her sister was living there. She's an aircraft pilot, living with her now ex-husband. Fun
Does
fact.
that have anything to do with the visit? That
No,
you guys
nothing to do with our visit. Okay.
We have to get to that.
Okay, I know where your questions come from. That part of the race doesn't start till after
Gotcha.
COVID started.
So you felt like that was a safe way to spread COVID?
No,
I'm just kidding.
no,
I'm just kidding.
I was still safe. Still
Yeah.
safe. Still safe. Keep your. If you have questions you want to ask, sir, go ahead. Okay, before you have any questions, you should know that part of the relationship doesn't happen for quite some time.
After
still.
COVID.
After some events that happen,
Gotcha.
just things that happen.
Okay.
So we're going well. Nothing's really going bad. You know, we don't really argue. Sometimes, I guess the biggest. It's not even a problem. The biggest aspect of our relationship is she didn't. This is how I took it anyway. She didn't want to fully commit. Like her emotions were always like far further away than
It was a fight. It was something.
Not even a fight. She just like wouldn't talk, or she would be quiet for a few days. She still is like that now, but I understand. But and I just wouldn't understand. I was like, "What's wrong? Like, what's wrong?" She's like, "This is just like how I am. Like I'm not talking to anyone. It's not just you. I'm not talking to anyone. You know, my phone's just like down."
Yeah.
So okay, I was like okay, and then that trip comes where we both went on a trip to Guelph, Ontario. We spent like a week in her big apartment with her ex-husband. It was a great trip, no problems. We went to a local skate park together. I was doing some sick moves. She brought her sister along. They were sitting there watching. Broke a skateboard the first day I bought it.
How much is a skateboard?
Depends.
Okay. Different though.
Yeah, different topic. Santa Cruz, upgrade your decks. First day I bought it, snap. on a flat ground, like on the
on
ground,
one take
just
reviews, that's a 1 out of 10.
that's a
review.
1 out of 10 review on. It could have been warped. Maybe some water got in there during the process.
But brand fucking new.
Brand spanking new, right out of the store, snapped.
So you were going skateboarding, break
Yeah,
your board.
and then that trip ended. I had to go home alone because she wanted to stay longer, but I had got a job, right?
Yep.
She had more time off, and then I think that trip made her want to live with her sister a little bit, and she really was adamant about going to Guelph, Ontario. It's a big university town. I don't know if you know much about Guelph, Ontario. Big university town, lots of food shops, ramen, everything. We ate so much food when we were there. And I guess she just got the idea she wanted to go to school in this Guelph community. We didn't see anyone. We didn't hang out with anyone really. So I don't know. Maybe it was just the scenery she wanted to go. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to follow you. You know, like, I got like a pretty much full-time job. You know, I'm doing things.
You're doing your own thing.
Yeah, and like I had one sponsor at that time for skating.
You mentioned before a while ago, this guy was fucking.
I got 2 sponsors now.
Who knows? I don't know.
This is one of my sponsors. After Effect.
To me, I thought it was pretty fucking cool because
I don't get money or anything, but I do get some free merch
and
here and there.
That's what counts,
I get my
right?
clips out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, during that time, I was skating. I'm enjoying the Winnipeg community. You know,
What's your favorite skate park in Winnipeg?
Forks is really cool, but that's like the main one.
What's your favorite
non-main one?
Skate park.
Non-skate park?
Yeah.
Like spot?
So somewhere where you like to skate, but you're not allowed. Because I'm sure.
Actually, I've skated the Millennium Library a lot. They just let you skate in there.
Really?
Yeah. There's homeless people there, but they're all really chill. You know, they hang out. They're like, oh, dude, they're like over in the corner, like screaming. It's actually such a nice vibe there. They have like a big, nice bench, concrete bench that's super waxed on both sides,
Nice.
So you can come in, like nice little crack things, and nice scenery, glass windows.
Nice.
Millennium Library.
Now.
Sorry,
so
off topic again.
She's
She's
not liking the title look.
She's always been like that.
Yeah,
she's always been like that from the start, which I understand. I've always been fully understandable. I get it. You know, like I myself, a different topic, have been cheated on. Not physically.
Well, that's not a different topic. That matters. That's all. That all has something to do with it.
I've been cheated. Like not physically. Like I know that they've done anything, but sending pictures, talking, calling them pet names.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was some guy in like America, like the U.S. And I was like, well, go enjoy the States.
Yeah.
And I was like, peace. So I understood how she was feeling because like I also have, not saying she didn't even deal with that, but like I understand that feeling of like I'm not ready for that. I don't trust that.
Oh yeah, I've had my good share of wrong picks, let's just say.
Yeah.
And I won't go into detail about it right now, but let's just say trust is a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost. And when it's already hard in a generation to approach somebody, right? You mentioned it's hard to just go up to somebody and make
you can't really
strike conversation unless you got a fucking phone in your face.
I always ask the question, how do I do this without seeming like a creep?
Yeah, it goes.
And I think everyone thinks
it goes through any guy's mind nowadays. It has to.
I never. Sorry to cut you off.
Not that I will.
I've never actually had the unfortune to be cheated on because all my past relationships, they died.
Before anything happened.
Which
is good. Which is like when you think about the topic. Sorry, to cut you off again. It's just like, why don't you just end it?
Yeah. No, I've never understood the
and the biggest
reason behind it. Like, if you're not happy, if it's not working, end it and then do what you want.
Yeah.
Because then there's no bad feeling. You're doing what you want. You gave that person that you let them know.
And I was just
having a guy on a leash and just kind of dragging him along.
That's pretty much how I felt in that relationship.
I've had more than one past relationship where I've been physically cheated on, and it teaches you a hell of a lot.
And I'm sure that feels so much worse than not. What I considered cheating was pictures being sent.
No, but that too. I've had that too. Oh yeah, I've had that too, and that was when I was younger. Just learning what a serious relationship is, and I was just getting into like the year marks and shit like that, but my first relationship, it was just shitty right out of the gate, where I was unfortunate, and I learned right then and there
right away.
that,
At least you picked up on it though.
well, I had no choice. It was it was all there, but
or you were, like,
it teaches
blind.
you it teaches you a lot, and I wouldn't have it any other way because of what I know now.
Mhm.
But the trust that was broken for years and years.
It's hard
and
to build
years.
that trust
And
back.
I shit you not, the organic feeling I had with Savannah and meeting her the way I did, she's the only girl to gain that full trust back, where it's like, oh, okay, you know, you don't need to take that second to worry, or it's like you just you be you, and I'll be me.
I was just about to say that. It's like you almost like take a second to like fully let that trust back. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh wow, like I'm in like a good thing, and like you almost self-sabotage it yourself.
The crazy thing.
Yeah, sometimes you
self-sabotage.
Sometimes you
Oh, yeah.
you overthink. It's like, is she just stringing me along just for I guess a cheap
And
fling or something like that?
oh, you're just
I,
knocking so many points right now. I think that was one of her main concerns too. She would always just think I was gonna leave her for how she was.
My biggest thing was, I think, you know, any girl I meet is, they're gonna cheat, right? They're gonna cheat because that's all that's happened. It's they're gonna cheat. But it didn't even take a long time. It was immediate. I got trust. I think the first conversation
And that's just how you know.
the first conversation me and her had, it was a good deep conversation, and we got to know each other real good that way. And I didn't hold anything back, and I think that allowed her to kind of feel like she didn't have to hold anything back. And who knows, you guys might get to that point, you know, you just being there or whatever. But one thing,
It's really grown.
yeah,
It's
like,
grown a lot.
but by now you'd assume it would have grown into a label now, don't you think? Like you're
Well, we'll get to that subject. I don't know. I guess I'll answer that question in a sec.
Yeah, yeah.
In a sec, maybe, because I guess we haven't reached the point of why it's not that, right?
yeah, we're really taking
We're,
that
st-
part
we're
up.
still not at that part because a lot did happen to get to that point, and a lot. I wasn't like right okay with it right out of the gate. Like, yeah, perfect. Like that's what I want. Especially after we just talked about getting cheated on and labels. And it's like it didn't just like pop in my head like that's what I want. A lot happened. So anyway, I come home, my brother picks me up from the airport, and then she comes home like a week later, and it's still good. And then she brings up the idea to me to move, and I was like, well, what's gonna happen? Like, are we gonna do long distance? Because like I was honest with her, I was like, I don't really believe in long distance.
No.
And she's like, no.
Long distance does this work.
And she's like, no, like I was gonna talk to you about the same
girl
thing.
says she's doing long distance. She's just,
And
It's pretty much
she brought up the idea to open it, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that if you're moving and stuff. I was like, you can still message me, and like we continue to like try to make the friendship work because we were friends originally, right?
yeah, and then friends with benefits.
And then that happened, it blossomed. Blossomed into that. And then she moved, I think maybe a month or two later, and then COVID hit, like, I think 3 months after she got there and was living there already.
So it was lockdown.
It was like she got there, was living there a bit, COVID hit. And then simultaneously, her sister and the husband, he cheated on the sister, the husband that Gwen was living with. She I don't think she'll mind.
Yeah.
And not name dropping those two.
No.
Yeah, something. He was a pilot also, and pilots travel.
Yep.
Something happened with
Different
him.
wife and different.
And then apparently never had feelings for this person, and a whole big. But now has another person.
Now they're living together.
Now the sister isn't there, and now Gwen's living with this dude.
Oh.
And then nothing happens between them because he's an awkward dude. She's got a good sense of like personality, right? And she's like, I don't trust this guy's not it, right? And then COVID hit like right after that happened. She moves back.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, you moved back, sick, like blah blah. And then she wanted to I don't think she wanted to keep us broken up. She wanted to be with me, but she liked the idea of having the opportunity if it were to come up. and I was
Good
not
opportunity.
like if she met like say she wanted to do something with someone,
Okay.
and initially I was like not okay with it.
So just she just wanted to stay fuck
She
buddies.
no, she wanted to romantically be involved with me.
Okay.
Which means she wanted to
Oh,
love
yeah.
me.
But she wants
But
the
say-
option of
because like I talk to people at work, you get friendly with people, something might happen, like they text you, right? Not saying
I
that.
work with just guys.
I know.
So
I
there's
work
no
with-
friendly
I work-
text in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I use work as an example because there's ladies at my work.
Okay.
Okay, work or say skateboarding for me, I've have a bunch of female skate friends,
Yeah.
which that could have happened, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Right. So something like that, where you meet a friendship, like, oh, like, what's your relationship like? They know beforehand. It's like, oh, like, I'm in this.
That's right. I remember earlier you were telling me.
Anyway.
It was you.
Anyways.
This is-
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway. Sorry, getting off topic again. Was not okay with it. Was not down at all, and I was like,
she just wanted you.
she just wanted me
Okay.
romantically,
I see.
and she liked the attention, but only if she liked the person, she would do something, right? And my brain right away was like, this isn't sounding right, blah blah blah, and then I was like, I need to get back to you on this, like I don't, because I really did care for this lady, still do,
But at the
obviously.
same time,
But at the same time, my mind was telling me, like, I don't know, like, you should really sit down and think about this.
Yeah.
Because I knew these kinds of relationships existed. I just didn't know if that's what I wanted. Right?
you know they exist, but do they ever work out?
That's the
Really?
thing. I don't know. Right?
And
Do you ever
ever want kids? Are you that? Are
Not
you
really,
Do
no.
you ever, no. Do you ever want to settle down?
Not at this time.
Oh yeah.
You're still young. You have
Still
Of course.
28.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're 28. You have years
Um,
upon years.
but I
of
think
thinking
me
about
and
this.
her are both equally on the same page for that, and that's where I brought up like where I feel like a kid still not like I am a child. It's just like I don't think I'm ready for those steps yet, you know, and
Oh,
that's
for
part
sure.
of that was part of the whole deciding factor, was just like write down I told myself, write down what you're thinking, write down your questions, write down your concerns. Just get it on paper so you can see what you're feeling, right?
Yeah.
And my main question is why, how are you feeling? Tell me how you feel. Because I had a whole bunch of questions like I wanted to know, right?
Do you have any in mind? Like what were some of your main questions?
Some of my questions is like, I had an optimistic mind because I mentioned earlier to you, it's like the idea popped in my head that like, oh, I could do that. But then I thought about her doing it, you know? And right away I'm like, oh, No way.
Not fair. It's a double standard.
it's a double standard, right? So right away I caught myself in my mind, you can't think that way. So that was like, I answered my own question
Mhm.
on the top. It was like, okay, so like why am I okay with myself doing it? And then I was like, okay, well there's gotta be boundaries. There's gotta be some kind of rules. So I don't remember all the questions. It was
No,
quite
yeah,
some time
yeah.
ago. I literally had a full paper list that me and her sat down.
Oh,
And I was like, at first, I think I cried
yeah.
a few times, you know, thinking about it. You know, you mentioned being alone sometimes, like back in the day, in your own apartment or like
Yeah.
being alone. Being
Right.
alone is the worst, especially when you're trying to think of stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
So I would be sitting there thinking of questions, and then all of a sudden just break down.
Oh, for sure. What he's talking about was earlier when we were talking.
Oh, sorry.
When we wanted to kind of spark up this whole get together and have this on here. But one of my biggest things was when I first moved out, explaining already how I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my idea, and it was kind of pushed on me, and it was pushed as in, oh, this is the best thing right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it
didn't work
comes
out
with
that
the
way.
freedom.
Yeah, well, yeah, but can I say something?
Mhm.
My dad always gave me the freedom, and that's one thing I think back on now. Well, one of many things I think back on now. But growing up is I could walk up to 7-Eleven at 2 in the morning and he wasn't down my neck. Like
Yeah.
it was trust, right?
Yeah.
I always gave
you gain that trust.
always gave my parents the ability to trust on what I was doing. There was never once I was out at a buddy's or a friend's. There was never once they would call and I wasn't where I said I was, right? Because once you lose that trust, you can never gain that back.
Yeah.
And that was always a big thing growing up, is trust, respect, and honesty, and not lying.
That's a big thing
But
too.
when I moved out, one of the main thing that hit me was I didn't have a car when I first moved out, so my dad was driving me, dropping me off after work, because we worked at the same company at the time.
Yeah.
So instead of going to work and back, driving with him in the morning and home, now it's pick me up in the morning, dropping me off at my new place, which is supposed to be home, but it was nowhere near like home. I remember I'd get in, open the door, and I got my little cats and everything at the time. But say the other person I was with wasn't there, or was still at work, and I'm by myself. This is before I had an Alexa that could play music whenever I wanted and keep kind of noise around in the apartment, but it was just quiet, dead silence, and that's not how I grew up. Like, I grew up with the house always filled, always packed, noise going on. That's why this is the hangout spot. Everybody, the neighbors, they all come hang out here, because that's how I've always wanted to mimic my home life. And it keeps life interesting. But there was a time and period where, and I've lived on my own too, like, since I moved out. I've never moved back, so during the hardships and ups and downs, I've experienced it also just by myself on my own. So when you sit there and you're by yourself, you think of many different things, and everything that goes in your mind, and you don't think on how much it really changes. The first thing like you said, freedom. Everybody thinks, oh, freedom when you move out, and it's like, is it really freedom when you can't go out on a Saturday night because you paid your rent, you paid your utilities, and you paid your phone, your bills, and by the time you look at what you have left, and oh shit, you're gonna be in the negative next week because your bank fee comes out or whatever comes out, you don't have enough to buy yourself a coffee. It's pretty tough knowing that, holy fuck, this is what freedom is. Freedom was when I worked at Robin's Donuts when I was 18, got a whole fucking paycheck, and hey dad, I'm going with my buddies up to Classics to shoot some pool, and not have to worry about a damn fucking thing. Now, I don't remember the last time I got out and played pool and, had to worry, had to not worry. So it's crazy how it all works out. But again, you learn as you go, and life will throw all kinds of curveballs at you, and how you respond to them really shapes into who you become as an adult, and it really helps you grow and learn from other people's perspectives, and you try to take, like me, I've always tried to take bits and pieces of everybody that I talk to or come across, and I try to learn from them, and ooh, I won't do that, or ooh, I'll do that, and sorry, I didn't mean to point. But it's back to what I said earlier. It's an interesting life.
The being alone.
Sorry.
At the same time as it being bad, it kind of made me realize that I was kind of double standarding the situation, like we were saying. And then I kind of got to the thing. It's like, all right, is it just the attention? Was like one of my questions. Are you gonna be actively doing this? Things that my brain thought of.
I mean, your brain can go to
so many different parts, right? And I got those questions answered. It's like, no, I really only just care about the attention. Like it's not like a big...
And this, I feel like let's be real, the sex.
No, it's not that.
No, on your end.
Well, see, like
you.
That's where the double standards from. It's like, oh, I'm fine with myself, but I wasn't fine with the other way.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like that. Sorry, not
so
the what's the fucking intimacy.
So, it was just like, okay, so like we're dating, but we're not, and it was one of my questions. I was like, can you explain like how her thing was? It's still like, it doesn't make sense to everyone, and I get it. Her thing was like, I just don't like the title. She just doesn't believe in titles, like marriage. She doesn't believe in marriage. She doesn't believe in titles of a relationship. It just means you should love someone.
Was her parents married?
They were, but
They divorced?
they have a relationship like my parents. They argue, it's like a marriage. Like what? There's I feel like there's so much more arguing marriages than there are good marriages. You know. But she's just always been that way, and she's mentioned it before. Like, I don't believe in like the title of marriage. Like if we're ever gonna get married, it's gonna be like a small ceremony. No,
Or just signing papers.
or just like sign the papers. Like we're married.
That's what my brother
So
did.
just like she doesn't believe in
She doesn't.
labels like boyfriend, girlfriend.
She doesn't believe in that stuff,
Okay.
and that was her big point. It's like I love you, I just hate those goddamn titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what about this other stuff? And it's like that's just because I like attention. I was
No,
like,
there's other stuff.
Of course.
Guys, we will have to wrap.
we
up
will
at
have to
some
wrap
point.
up soon. Yeah.
Let's
We'll
just
we'll
cut
speed
right
it.
to the
We'll
chase.
speed it. Yeah.
Involving other people in the
Involving other
the
people.
intimacy.
Yeah.
That's the
That-
stuff that's
and
holding
then-
any label back.
That's holding the label. It's like, are you gonna be committed to one person, or
But
are you gonna?
Not only that, you both and you guys,
This was like an agreement.
but you guys go and seek.
No, that's the thing. We're not seekers of. We're not seekers. We're not going. We're not going around swinging. It's just like, oh wow, like I met this person, they've become a really close friend of mine. You get to know them first.
Mhm.
It's not just like you bed now.
Fair enough.
It's like wow, I've
No.
and you and here's another thing. It's like, sorry, you said we gotta cut it off.
Not yeah.
One of the main things was trust and honesty, like you said before. Trust, honesty, telling the truth.
Mhm.
Have you been talking to anyone? No. Yes.
But
Has
why are
anything
those
come up?
why are those questions asked if you guys aren't in a
It's
relationship?
But we are. Romantically. You see, this is why people who are in a traditional relationship
Mhm.
hate on it.
I'm not hating it.
I'm not saying again, not saying Eric's hating on it.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm sure people will hear that and be like, well,
Yeah.
that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I don't
It's-
think it's bad, but I think it's quite interesting.
It is interesting. I guess the best way I can describe it is I don't see sex as a romantic thing.
Really?
I see sex as just a thing you get your body off.
Can I tell you something?
You do something and that's it. I don't find it romantic.
That's,
With Gwen, I do.
okay. Well, then I was just gonna tell you something. I was gonna say then
There's
you haven't
different.
then you haven't had it with the right person. I'm not gonna get into my person, but
Oh yeah, sorry. I guess I
like-
just didn't get to that point.
yeah, the difference.
This is the difference.
There's a
With
difference.
someone that's not my love, it's just like I'm getting my rock off.
Yeah.
But am I going 3 times a week to go to here and there? No, like, 1 month, like, hey, do you want to like hang out and meet up? Like,
Yeah.
oh, sure, maybe. Like, do I have a whole list of people? Absolutely not.
Okay.
Do I have like 1 or 2 close friends that I would do that with? Yes, I would. But it's a complete respect thing. Gwen would know those people's names.
But like you said, you don't like when it's on the other end.
I've grown.
Oh yeah.
I've grown. I didn't like it when I was first told she wanted it.
Okay.
Now that
you're doing it.
now
and
that,
it's-
see, that's where the double standard came in. I was like, why am I okay with me doing it?
Yeah.
So if the biggest answer to this whole thing is why am I in one? Because I was okay with me doing it, but not my love. So I basically told myself you can't do that, and to try it, and I think our relationship's been stronger than it ever has been. She's
Yeah.
opened up her feelings to me more. She tells me when she has a bad day.
You guys are acting more like
We're
a
acting
couple,
more
it
like
sounds
a couple
More like
without
couple.
the title.
Yeah.
Than having the title.
So final question.
Yes.
Unless there's something you want to say before
So,
we
and-
end this.
No.
And one more
no,
thing
no,
before.
no,
Sorry.
I'm
No,
just
it's okay.
focused on listening. It's
Yeah.
actually quite interesting to see.
One more thing before I do let you finish is just like I understand it's not for everyone, and I'm not saying you should try it. Just understand that a lot happened in my personal relationship
Everybody's different.
to get to
Yeah,
this
Everybody's
point.
different. That's the thing.
And when she moved back, it just didn't go back to a committed.
And
it
it's
just
not saying that
stayed.
it might never not happen.
And it might,
Yeah.
and we've had, of course, you have the talks like, what about when we live together? What about when we have a house? Obviously,
Have you guys
that's
had those
not good.
talks?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
and
so there you
For
go.
the most part, is it going to continue? Most likely not, right? But I guess when we get to that part, we'll get. I will say though, the most surprising thing about being in a relationship like this is it's made my relationship stronger
Interesting.
in a way, which is kind of really weird.
Yeah, no, I like me personally, I don't understand.
And
but
and as I told you, whose idea was it? Not mine.
yeah, no, for sure.
I got a question though.
Of course.
Savannah, don't get no ideas.
So after you've been together for a while, do you think her
Like she'll change her mind.
her change her mind on labels, or do you think that
She's just always been this way. I don't know why the labels make her feel that way. Maybe just because she seems she has to uphold a certain position to that title.
Okay.
I think it has to do with her being quiet sometimes. And you know, everyone's got their dark days. Like I have my quiet days.
Yeah.
And I've reached a point where I'm okay with everything. You know, I understand. I still get an I love you and good night.
There you go.
You know, I've had an okay day. So it's almost like it's opened her up more, which is really weird and I guess contradictory in a way. But like I said, it's not like we're going out. You. I just go on and talk. I talk to people, or not all the time. It's like someone.
Just
I honestly wait for people to message me.
Okay.
And then I'll be like, hey, don't you hit it off? Maybe I've only ever hit it off with one person, So I mean, it's not like I'm out there patrolling the streets, you know.
Do you think you will ever want to label that off? Like I know you say, you guys talk about a house and so on.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah?
I think I'll get tired of it eventually.
Do you think she will too?
As far as I know, she's done less than I have. So yes.
Okay, so. I
don't want it to seem like I'm a troubled person, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it's funny that I was super against it, and now
you're the one.
it's like I'm the one that has done it.
Yeah.
But I guess she's done it too, just not the same way as I have, you know. And
now, do you think she would tell you if she did?
We made it one of our things is if we want to know. If we want to know.
But if you were to ask.
If I were to ask, she would tell me, and if she were to ask me, I'd be like, yeah, like
That's
here.
nice.
But it's not like I have to go to her right away and be like, this is how it is.
And it's not like you're not targeting her friends, and she's not targeting your friends.
And I'm friends with all her friends, and they know our situation and everything.
You guys keep that up.
And like I've kissed her best friend before one time. Again, she told me to do it. Her words were, "Do it, pussy," and I was drunk and I took it as a challenge, and she watched. And I've never done anything like that ever since that time.
Now I want to ask you. That's a perfect opening to my next and last question.
Mm-hmm. Last question.
Has there ever been more than two people?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's the impression I got originally.
No, it's just been light stuff. But
what's light stuff?
Like just kissing and stuff.
So there's been interesting.
Yeah.
It
hardly ever goes to the bedroom.
Now I'm only asking this because of what we were talking about earlier. Do you and her do you think you guys are ever the type to do that kind of shit?
Oh, together? No.
Like, no.
No, we've already talked. We've already talked about it.
Okay.
No.
That's the part I was like, what?
There's no sharing of us together. You know.
Because I was
us together is a spiritual bond.
For a bit, I was wondering. I'm like, is
again? I told you we're not swingers.
Does this mean like
swing? That's what swingers are.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
No, we're not swingers. We're not doing that.
I was gonna say. Oof. That's
the
why
best,
I made the
best point to make on that is when it's her and I, it's like a spiritual bond.
Yeah.
There's no sharing between.
There's a connection.
There's no one joining that connection. It's only gonna be me and her in that moment.
Remember that any other moment.
Any other moment is like separate.
She wants to be treated a whole different way, and you want to be.
She honestly is. She would only take the attention if just the attention.
But like you said, it's not like she's out doing it, and
I'm not out like doing it.
You probably have a higher count than say she would, type deal.
And my count's like not even. It's not high. Again. It's not like I meet you. Let's go. It's like, are you a nice person? Do I get along with you? Can we hold the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you're like, offer the idea.
Yeah.
Do they know right away off the gate? Yes, I have a love. Her name is this. We are in this situation. Do you want to continue? And most of the time, no.
Yeah, for sure.
We're friends. That one of my skate friends. That happened with her.
Yeah.
I think we miscommunicated.
Yeah.
She found out. I told her I had to just full on put it as like I think we've not been fully
Like, just to be clear, that
just to be
deal.
clear, and then it's like, oh no, like I can't do that. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. So it's always respectful, it's always honest, and they always know what situation I'm in. It's never like I do the deed and then they find out.
Mhm.
I can never do that to somebody.
No, for sure.
If it's gonna happen, they know in advance. They know
You're not being shady.
they
about
know
it,
it's
you're being-
just that activity
Yep.
and there's nothing else.
You're just full on.
So
here it
maybe
is.
that might put it in some better view.
Oh,
It's
for sure,
never
yeah.
just like, oh, I take advantage and then they find out after. It's
Yeah.
never like that.
No, absolutely. And I never once looked at you as the type to be that way.
Yeah,
Anyways.
it's always an honest and trustworthy, respectful.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Johan, anything to
No, I think you put it out in perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, I gotta excuse myself.
Really quick, because we're gonna wrap this up. Sorry.
Never mind.
Let's just give you a bladder infection.
Yeah.
As the first time I met you, I noticed there was something a little off. Don't do
Off
that.
in what way?
Just you seem. I don't know.
I
just,
am weird.
You are weird. We're all weird.
Yeah,
But
we're
just-
all weird.
Your comeback could have been, well, when I first met you, you seemed a little off.
Well, I
Just
so,
kidding.
sorry.
That's between you two.
let me rephrase that. I see that. I thought. Okay, this is gonna sound really.
No,
bad.
dude, be honest. Say what you want to say.
I thought you were actually gay the first time I met you.
It's because I have emotions, dog.
I never said I
What? Honestly, now I'm curious. What made you think that?
the hair.
Well, that's just because I like doing hair.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
Hair doesn't make you gay, dog.
I know that. It just seems like the.
Do you want to know where I got this outfit from? The cut from? Not the blonde. The blonde is just because I wanted to have fun with my hair.
Okay, so that.
The cut is the Peaky Blinders cut.
Yeah.
It's just my hair,
yeah.
my sides have grown out, so it's
Yeah.
not no longer the Peaky Blinders. And I was like, how would it look blonde?
Now you're just
This
looking
used
like
to be
a rat.
all blonde. Now it's brown.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the blonde.
I used to have it green. I used to have it like.
Well, what are you
dark
doing
green.
checking his hair out?
Yeah.
Especially-
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
I always look at the.
So no,
person.
I-
I'm not that.
Okay.
Mm.
I didn't mean anything by it.
Oh, no, of course.
My
Nothing
hypothesis
offensive
was
said.
wrong.
There's nothing
Nothing
offensive
offensive
said.
said.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I
If you want to hate me, tell me that you hate me.
There's no hate at all, dog.
Nope.
No hate at
It's
all.
a common. And
Hey,
again,
if that's how you first felt, that's how you first felt.
But now
Well,
you,
obviously, you know,
my policies completely changed. You're a stand-up guy.
Because now you know.
Now you know.
And again, it's not. I've got to wrap up.
Yeah.
It's not a topic like, oh hey, like I want to bring up this topic. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't just outwardly be like, I'm in an open relationship.
Yeah, no.
oh, you gotta say it loud enough.
I'm in an open relationship.
There you go.
Yeah.
But again, I wouldn't title that. I don't know what it. People call it a situationship, whatever. I don't know.
Leave a comment down
What
below.
would you call it?
What would you call?
People are gonna call it
Cody's-
an open relationship.
Yeah. They will call it
Cody's
open
situation, and
Not poly.
last but not
relationship.
least,
Not Paul.
I want to make a.
Forgetting Sherry Marshall.
What do you think they're gonna end up working out?
I can say yes, but that's me. I'm biased.
in my opinion,
You know how many
Yes.
times I've said yes and I've been dead fucking wrong.
I think they will make it, but there might have to be
But you
some
also gotta
I
sacrifices.
think-
think,
one,
yeah,
so-
I was just gonna say I think I gotta meet the person.
Yeah,
Do I think you guys are gonna make it?
unclear at the
You can
moment.
be honest.
Unclear.
You can be honest.
No.
honest.
Because if you
In
guys,
your opinion,
yeah, in my opinion, and this, you
I'm not
better
taking it
know.
wrong way. This is all
Oh
opinion.
yeah,
It's all opinion.
it's like nothing against her, but like you take the amount of time that you guys have been in this scenario. If there isn't that kind of, and I don't know, I was just saying, if there isn't that kind of feeling of wanting to settle down with that person and have that full commitment and not want attention from someone else,
Mhm.
then you're not gonna want it a year from now or 2 years from now. Like I've been in relationships. I've never once cheated on anybody, but I've been in relationships where you know the emotion isn't there, the connection isn't there,
But it's
and
the thing.
you're living in. And I'm not saying that this is your situation,
Okay.
but you're living in a relationship where you're just kind of dealing with the now. You're
Yeah.
not worried about your future.
Yeah.
You're just dealing with the now and the feelings that you have now. And there's been times where you can tell, hey, that person doesn't feel the same back towards me, or like, do you ever get those feelings?
Never.
Never.
Never. I know that woman loves me 100%. 100%.
would
Have
love-
I ever questioned her love? at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Now, everyone else is dirt compared to me. if I'm gonna speak for her,
That's awesome.
if I think that way, I would 90% think that. I mean, again, you never know what's gonna happen in the future.
Yeah.
But based off of how she acts around me, talks around me, you know, you would get that feeling like, is this genuine?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but no, it's
And Johan, what about
you never
you?
know what's
In
gonna
my
happen.
opinion,
Really quick.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, by taking care of your younger sister, does that stop you from going and seeking relationships
He
where?
has one.
I have.
Oh, you're in a relationship.
I'm in a relationship.
We didn't get to that point.
My apologies.
Maybe
No,
Johan
no,
is
no,
a
no,
one-on-one.
No, it's fine. Yeah,
Um,
I've been with my girl for 4 years now, and
She took everything.
she
good.
took everything
Really
in
good.
stride. All my hang-ups, all my dark days, all my mood swings.
Right on. That's
Yeah.
good.
Honestly, I think that's a good. I think we've gone through so much. That's a good point, Johan. I think me and her have gone through so much of each other's crap that we've just been like, we're in it to die.
And you're just in the
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
And going back to where you said you had to learn new things like paying bills and things,
Yeah.
and I think that's also a big part of why our relationship is that we're still learning a lot about ourselves. Even though I'm 28 years old, like I don't even know who I am, let alone if I want another person in like to settle down with yet. You know what I mean?
That was the best way you could have said it.
Yeah.
Basically just like I think that's for both of us. It's we still got a lot of learning to do. It's kind of funny that I'm middle aged and I'm saying that, but well, am I middle aged? Quarter age.
Everybody
Quarter age,
learns
yeah.
at their own pace.
But I think that's a big point of how things are right now too.
Yeah.
But we always say we have unconditional love for each other, no matter what happens. You know.
you guys care about each other,
Yeah.
and
That
you talking that has not been in doubt. No matter what, it's just you guys. I think best to describe it. You're in your fun years, and yeah, I guess with me saying no, but
I understand.
Even with that
understand.
very last little bit, you kind of make me
But I
understand your
think most
scenario
people who
and-
would hear that would agree with you though. They
Yeah.
would say that. Like I don't see it unless they commit soon.
Unless
I would say yes.
Even my mom attacked me the other day
Oh,
for
yeah.
that. You know, it's like I get it.
I would say yes in my own opinion, but there may have to be some
Some things will happen.
sacrifices will have to be made.
oh for sure that's with any relationship.
Any sort of relationship. Yeah.
But we're gonna wrap this up now, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Talking
you.
a long time.
No, that's no problem. Thank you
Yeah.
both so much.
For
It was
sure.
spur of the moment. I asked
Dude,
them both on the spot.
Even if you want, I'm down.
And-
even if you want to do another one-on-one, we can even get more depth.
Yeah.
We can. I'm
Anytime,
sure there's
guys.
more questions. I'm
Anytime.
sure there's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
answers. You know.
And these were just a couple of topics we
There's lots of
we
topics.
picked to
There's
talk
others,
about.
Uh, We could get into the full breakdown of how a skateboard is. You
Yeah.
know, all that
No,
stuff.
for sure.
You know.
Like Johan mentioned beforehand how he was a little nervous about how if you were to pause or talk or if you lost your train of thought. And I will tell you, you did awesome. So thank you. And now that you've
Are
done
you
it
just the
once,
host because you have to say that?
What's that?
Are you just the host because you have to say that?
sorry. Oh no,
The
God, no.
host?
No, but without even realizing you were just freely talking, right? You
Yeah.
forget about what's right there and just enjoy the talk and nobody's being judged when we're talking. It's all about having fun.
It's all a good
Shooting the shit.
conversation.
So I appreciate it, and hopefully you're not afraid to do it next time. And so
Man, no
goes
problem.
with
No,
you,
no
same
problem
goes with
at all.
you. But we'll try to get your brother on next time.
For sure. I think
And,
I think if he saw this, he might change his mind. He
yeah,
might appreciate the
it's
combo.
really not hard. It's not like I sometimes get social anxiety on big crowds
It's
or
a
whatever. I
big thing
get
for me.
nervous
It's a
or
big thing for me.
talking, stuttering has always been one thing that I've had a problem with. And I don't give a fuck at this point. Really, I don't care.
The more you
Like,
age, the less you care.
yeah, if somebody wants to listen, they can listen, and if they find something I say funny or if they understand me talking, then awesome.
Mhm.
But if somebody doesn't, you talk too fast or you then don't listen.
Yeah.
It's that's why there's so many fucking people out there. Somebody's gonna watch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Sorry, I made you
It's
say.
it's all good.
But no, thanks, Johan.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
No
Cody.
problem, man.
And
No problem.
another thing too
Thanks for
is
having me.
check out his Instagram
Oh.
if you want to see some skateboarding.
I remembered
videos.
it.
I'll put
Cody Dillon, or no, Cody Penner 11 on Instagram.
Perfect.
He'll put it in there.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. And not only that, my other channel, One Take Reviews with Eric and Savannah.
Yep.
Maybe you could do a review, or we might see you on one of those
Little
on that
combo.
channel.
Yeah, sure.
But that's that's mine and Savannah's little thing we do.
Yeah.
But you'll
a
definitely
guest, a little guest intro.
yeah, we'll do a little pop in or whatever down the road. But definitely welcome back to come do this if you ever want to do it again.
Even if you want to do a one-on-one, definitely if you want to go into more, if you have more questions you think of, I'm sure this has spurred a whole bunch of questions in your head.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about other things down the road. But
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up.
Things have been good. Things have been good. Yeah.
Thank you, Cody, and Johan. You stepped out for a second, but alrighty, you guys take care, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next video. Bye.